Hey, guys. This is Amber
and Kristen
with Long Branch Talks. And today we have Victor and Megan, who is not on the video with us.
She'll be the voice in the corner.
Yeah, you can hear her talking every once in a while. She'll chime in with the Elizabethtown Paranormal Society. I have to say that slow or I'll get extremely tongue-tied. TEPS.
Yes.
TEPS. That's easy.
TEPS.
Hello, welcome, guys. How are you all today?
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
Good.
Absolutely. Which we kind of threw this on poor Megan. She didn't know that it was going to be live on camera.
Yeah.
So in her defense, that's
so you will hear her. Like. You just want to see her.
So we know what that's like.
Nothing paranormal going on right now. The voice is real.
Although we did think about tricking you all and making you think we did have something paranormal going on in the shadows. But yes. No, it's just Megan. So tell us a little bit about the TEPS.
Oh, definitely. So the Elizabethtown Paranormal Society, TEPS, we established since 2019. Yeah. And it's been an amazing ride. Our biggest goal when we started was to help people. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, we wanted to create like a safe environment for people to be able to connect, talk about paranormal things, stuff that they couldn't really connect the dot to or find an answer and not feel judged or ridiculed, right? We wanted to have like an opportunity for people to be able to share their stories. And if they needed help, well, then that's when we would be able to come in and help. And that's what we've been doing ever since.
Right.
We've been helping people understand what they have going on, making sure that the place they're at or wherever they're experiencing this unknown is safe, and really giving them a platform to tell their story, an opportunity to learn and live with whatever they have going on, and empowering them to not be afraid.
Right.
And so that's what we did.
So one of the favorite things about you all that I like the most is you actually go in and debunk, I guess, what's going on. So tell me about that. Like, what do you do?
Absolutely. So I think Megan's a big fan of that. But
it's her favorite
part. For instance, we had a client who they had like an outbuilding that had a second story. And they were like, every night, like I'll hear like something like rocking around up there up top, and like, what is it? And so we got up there and we started looking around. We're like, oh wow, there's a broken window up here they probably didn't know about. And then there was a rocking chair, and the wind that day happened to be blowing just right, and it started rocking, and then it started banging against the wall. And it was like, oh, well, is this what you hear? And we were like, they're like, that's it, that's what I hear. I'm like, get up here.
So you're really not haunted. You just have a rocking chair.
Got a rocking chair that's
catching wind.
Catching wind.
I think that's awesome that you all do that, because a lot of people, there is a lot of skeptics and a lot of people that kind of look at you kind of sideways when you say things. Like I was just telling you all about my garage and things, and people will kind of look at you like sideways, like, yeah, something right upstairs. And it's like, no, because if you've experienced it, you understand. And I think it's people that maybe aren't open to it. They've probably experienced things and they're just not open to it. And then they sit there, and once you talk to them about it, they're like, maybe that is what happened in this situation. And then they'll start becoming more open to it. Because we have people that do not believe. They look at us like we're crazy.
Oh, wow.
As a matter of fact, Jimmy on the last one said something about, ooh, there's a ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He likes to make fun of us, but it's one of those things where if you've never actually experienced it and are open to it, you don't really know what you're looking at.
Oh, I think you hit the nail on the head, because it is. It's we've had people, of course, even within our group, we have the full range of like skeptics and people who are diehard, like, oh my goodness, this has to be.
Yeah, there's something else besides this.
Yeah.
Which is why I like the fact that you all go in to check first to see, because you all were actually the first group that investigated Long Branch.
Yes.
And you came in and you checked like what gas leaks and electrical stuff. So like, what do you do when you go in? Do you do that every time?
Every time. We do that at clients, people who have us come out, just to be able to rule something, right? Like, hey, I'm not saying you you're not experiencing paranormal. No. I'm listening to you and I believe you. And this is a real to you, but you're in a room and you're creeped out. This might be why. And this can offer you a real world explanation.
Give you some closure into what you're seeing or hearing.
Yeah, because we've had people who have, I'm always getting sick in this room. I'm freaking out. I'm seeing stuff, and there's exposed wiring. And we go in there. And we're like, okay, the electrical is so bad in here that our equipment's all the way on the not safe end. And if you're in here all the time, you're going to be having stuff. Stop coming in this room and see if you stop having paranormal stuff, or shut the power off to this room. They do it. I'm a ghost.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it gives them some, like you said, closure, sense of mind. But we do that with everybody. Gas, we check everything: gas, air quality, any type of CO leaks, radiation, like heaven forbid I find nuclear radiation, that thing starts going off.
Yeah.
But an electrical radiation, the big one that people usually have is like electrical radiation, and that does a couple things. That charges the air, right? So paranormal, like, okay, there's energy in the air, that whatever's here could be soaking that up. But also hey, there's electrical problems in here. If some people are sensitive, they can get sick to this. I'm always sick when I go to this part of the basement. I'm always feeling like I'm being watched. Well, enough exposure to it gives you the
like hallucinations.
Hallucinations or paranoia. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it can cause nausea, it can cause headaches, it can cause, even if it's for a long period of time, it can actually cause hallucinations, paranoia, things like that. So it's definitely something that we always check. And it also gives us a base reading for when we're investigating. So we use those also to see if anything's there. So we're walking around with this electrical reader. It's normally at a 0 in this location. All of a sudden those numbers are going up. That's an indication that possibly something's there that wasn't there before.
Right.
Yeah, we had that at a client's house. We did a full sweep, the area, nothing. And we were in the kitchen. We walk around with all this equipment, and then all of a sudden, like as the investigation went on throughout the night, beep, 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 like something's like going crazy on it. And then we're like, can you back up? And then it stops. Can you come closer? Beep, 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 beep. And that tells you. So adds more to that pile. But and again, that's equipment that we use to check hey, is this place safe? And also we use it to help us investigate. And like she was saying too, with the base readings of whatever location we go to, it also helps our crew members, because not everybody sometimes makes it to that part. They come for the investigation, they do their magic and then go. But if we tell them, hey, upstairs in the corner, don't bother with this. This is going to give you a false positive. And then it saves their time. So they're not up there spending all night going, hey, am I getting something? No.
Right. Trying to investigate something that's not really there.
Exactly.
Amy Wayne. I found a love finally.
That's my sister, guys.
Hello.
So Megan, are you more skeptic than Victor, or
I am the most skeptic on the team.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I don't believe. It's just I'm more apt to try to find something logical to explain what we're going through, what we're experiencing, than most of the other ones on the team. We all try to find a logical explanation, but I will go the extra mile to disprove it if I can. So I am considered the skeptic on the team, because I don't ever want to put anything out there that's questionable.
right.
If I can find any kind of logical explanation for it, it's like, so can someone else.
So right.
Well,
So
and that's
let's go
actually
into it.
good too that
Yeah.
you have somebody like that on your team, because you can sit there and question like all the things that maybe somebody else isn't excited about, or maybe somebody gets super excited and you're like, let's fix that real quick. Let's
Bring us
back to
back.
that.
Bring us back.
Bring us back
That's
to
a
the
good
girl.
little balance. That's
Yes.
right.
And we've had that a lot where everybody was like, oh, this is so cool. And I'm like, well, let me see. this actually did this, and this is why. And then I showed it to them. They're like, that's just not fair.
So that actually, this is why I brought that up, because that actually brings me to this. When you all were in airplanes, you all experienced a chair. We have a haunted chair, guys,
Yes.
in our place.
That chair loves me.
Yeah. So, and that's where it actually all started, was with Kristen.
Yeah.
So she was sitting there one night, and the chair just decided to spin around and knock her. So when you all came out, the chair also spun.
Yes. Oh my
And,
goodness.
and Megan, you were like, wait a minute, let's measure the floor.
Everybody
Let's
saw.
Yeah, everybody
Yes.
swore that like I must have like walked up or something in the chair done it, and I had been standing there talking, and I was like, I haven't moved.
We tested that thoroughly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I can
she
guarantee
did.
you, I tested the chair itself. I tested the other chairs to see if any of those had. One of them was a little bit looser and spun easily. I put that in the same spot to see if it would just spin. I tested that like crazy.
She
We
pulled a
could not-
level out and like check the
we
level
checked
of the
the
floor.
Yeah.
We-
Like scientific.
I try to, like I said, I will go the extra mile
Yes.
to prove that it's not something paranormal before I'll say it's something paranormal.
Yeah.
So if it makes it to our show, it has been thoroughly tested by me.
Which is a good thing though, because that does help with the people that are skeptics,
Mhm.
that are, you investigate it. So you're like, well, but then you have the people that literally do look at us like we're crazy.
Mhm.
And like I showed you all that video on my phone of an orb flying out of my garage. And I was like, it couldn't have been dust. Dust floats.
Mhm.
This jetted out of my
Get it
garage.
straight out.
And I was like, nope. My garage door, like, I pull my SUV in there every night, and it don't malfunction. And then all of a sudden, I was sitting out there one night. It was like 2 a.m, and it just opened. And I was like, I'm the only one with an opener, and I don't really like this very much. So I was like, well. And then the other night, right after our last show, I was sitting there, and I went in, unloaded everything, had already shut my garage. Go to walk back outside, and my garage door is opening, and I was like, no, go back. So, and then right between that and then, I went and checked on all our farm animals and stuff, and I went in there and I told it to leave. And that was actually, I said, I wish I would have recorded me saying that, because it sat there and opened my garage like 4 times with me trying to shut it. And I was like, shut.
And that's what you all kind of do. Like you say, when you come in places, we're not here to bother you. You're not coming with me when we leave. So, I mean, you all kind of do that too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that.
No, it's
Think
definitely a good
tenfold.
practice. Yeah. Well, because we never want to be in a situation where something follows us or one of our guests or crew members. And it's neat because a lot of folks don't realize you have more authority than what you think. And some people, like, that's something that we try to teach people is you can set the line. You could set the tone. And if you tell whatever's there, please don't follow me, or hey, not today, please leave me alone, I don't want to interact with you. You set the tone. And 9 times out of 10, whatever's there goes, cool.
And I think that kind of reiterates Dan from last week, letting us know that as long as you're personable and open, and you're not rude, and they'll respect you like you'll respect them, unless it's more of an evil like entity or whatever in the like atmosphere. More, I had explained to him like a heavy feeling, and that to me was when I had experienced something more evil or more like just draining, because I had to have the front and back door open to this house where somebody had committed suicide. And I had known that, and I was in there trying to clean the house out, and it was just heavy. And I had to have both the doors open because it was physically making me sick to be in that house. So that's why when he said that, I was like, that makes perfect sense. Because at Long Branch, there's this little kid that is open as can be to Amber and I. And he said he probably looks at you all as a mother figure. And I said, that makes sense, because he does do kind of funny things.
But it's just started. Like,
started.
It just started. So it's like he's gotten used to us or
Yeah,
comfortable with us or whatever.
And well,
And
we
that's a
just
beautiful
rearranged.
thing.
We rearranged the upstairs some too. So I think he was more like, I'm gonna pull their leg.
That is awesome.
because I think he likes to play with a ball.
Mhm.
But he actually spoke, and neither one of us really knew what he had said. But we heard like 4 or 5 words, and we were just like,
Yeah, it happens before you even realize it's happening.
Yes.
Sometimes that's what's crazy.
well, and when you're not expecting it, it's
Yeah.
like, what?
Right? You're like,
Yeah.
It catches you off guard. Like well, we have our equipment, right? So we have stuff that we could turn on. Stuff talks through it. We always try to keep recorders around us, and then but like whenever you hear like something out in your ear, and you're like, did I just hear something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you all also have, I don't know if it's a shop, a building that you all collects things and keep it in this building. So tell us about
I've seen
that.
that video.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay! So it became a need when we got a particular item, and it was a Raggedy Ann doll. It was a gift. And
A gift that was dropped off in the middle of the night
yeah,
into
Wow.
one of our vehicles that was broken down.
Which makes it even worse in the middle of the night. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
just at a creepy level.
yes.
And sure enough, we started collecting stuff. Our thoughts behind it were, whenever we find anything weird out there, or if somebody has an item that they're not comfortable with, they'll hit us up and they're like, "Hey, can you hold on to this?" Or like if we find anything that's like apparently haunted, we'll take it off the street, because it's in my mind, I think in our mind, it's like better to lock it away so it can't hurt
to make-
nobody.
yeah,
Yeah.
just to make sure.
Better than falling in the wrong hands.
or
Right.
because I can't imagine like
Not realizing what they have and wind up something happens
yeah.
because of that item.
But that's what we did. So we
So are you open to take like anything,
Mhm.
basically? I mean,
yeah, because
clearly, I mean, somebody left you a Raggedy
Right.
Ann doll. So.
the collection's getting bigger all
Yeah.
the time, to be honest. Oh, we were at the store just earlier. There was a little clown
Sorry.
at the Peddler's Mall, and there was a sign, and they had it sitting on stage, and it said, what was the verbiage on the thing?
Pretty sure
Certain not cursed.
Oh,
And so we were like, I gotta get this. And so another thing we'll put away. But what we've done is we go in there, and to more of your darker entity stuff, right? I wanted to get some more education about it, so I did more research. I actually got my certificate in demonology, and so I was able to learn and understand certain signs, certain things to look for, what the church deems as bad, and how it gets to a point where it's worse. And we were able to I take that, and then now it's like you learn how to bless and like pray, and we do that every day. Like every week we go in there. When I check on the place, I put stuff down. There's a barrier, and it's like the stuff's staying in here.
right.
Yes.
It does not come in my house.
No.
It is not allowed in my house.
And
Well, I don't blame
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
We actually do have stuff already in our house. So that's the reason we actually bought the house.
no adding wood to the fire.
No. Well, and that's why my garage I think is a hot spot too, because I have a suitcase from somebody that passed away in there,
Oh goodness.
and then I also have her cat and dog.
Oh well, goodness. So there
So-
is a connection
I
there,
said I'm pretty sure that person's coming to visit.
right? Especially their animals, their stuff.
Yeah. There's stuff.
Well, you ever want an investigation, just let us know.
Oh, I would love it.
So,
You all have
what
some
is
fun.
like the scariest place you all have ever been into?
Well, for a hot minute there, I think where we live now was for us when we went there when it was a client. So a wonderful lady named Patricia owned it, and when we went there, we weren't like up to that point.
We had just started
We
out.
just started
Like our
out. We're
third
learning.
client. So we were
Yeah.
still learning
And we
weren't
never expected
ready for
something like that. And when you were talking about like an evil entity or like a pressure, this place went from our normal, right? We were like, oh, okay, this is normal. Okay, this is getting creepy, to where at the end of the night, it was like all of us were scared. Like,
wow.
it was an emotional roller coaster. Team members were in tears at the end of it. They wouldn't go back. They went back in to face it just to get our stuff.
Yeah.
But it was so bad, whatever was there. It was telling like our
Comment.
investigators that I'm going to kill you. I want you dead.
Oh wow.
It was like the most evilest stuff was being spit out of the box. The feeling in the room was just dread. Like none of us were ready for this. Like it was just horrible. And we felt so bad for the client because everybody was like, because I had to ring everybody in. I was like, guys, she has to live here. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, we got to check over our stuff and make sure. But it was very interesting. We'll get back with you. But I think that for scary, that held the rank for a while. We've had unique experiences elsewhere, but I think between the scary factor was that, and maybe certain aspects of Waverly Hills was scary.
Mm-hmm.
But
So you all have been to Waverly
yes,
Hills also.
yes, and it's a very, very, very big building. So when you go to Waverly, start jogging like a month before, so you get your body used to
the workout.
yeah, because it's a lot of walking. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. As far as like you said, the demonology and things like that. What did they tell you the feeling is compared to like just a normal spirit? Because I don't ever really feel much from like when I experience that kind of stuff besides like jump scare.
You're right.
But like the heavy.
Oh yeah. Well, so from the coursework, and this is kind of where like different opinions come into play. So from the coursework, everything is some form of like unhuman entity from like a church view, because they don't think like humans are free floating souls. From what their thing is, they're saying if you're seeing something, it's potentially demonic, and even if it's acting or pretending to be a loved one, it's not of this world. It's not your loved one. They shut it down.
Right.
But for me personally, I've had such unique personal experiences where I've never just like you said, I've been in situations where something's innocent and it's talking to me and I don't feel like threatened or dread. And I've been in situations where, holy crow, we need to get out of here. Like this is bad. Start praying. Like, but I think really it's like you said, and a lot of folks say it's trusting your gut. Like you get a gut feeling and you got to really in tune yourself with your feelings, because it's like if you feel the slightest bit like something's not right, trust your instinct. Something's not right. Close it.
That's when I had gone to the house where the person had committed suicide. It almost felt like something was sitting on my chest, like I could breathe, like I was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
And then once the doors were open, because you could see the front and the back door together, it was almost like there was enough of a breeze. Like it still felt heavy, but it was just, I could catch my breath. Whereas in like, I've gone into a place where somebody had passed away, my ex-husband actually, and it didn't feel heavy. Yeah. It not peaceful isn't the word, but just not heavy. It was.
So my papa used to always tell us that when somebody passed away, especially if they passed away in your house or in a house and somewhere, that you needed to open the windows, open the doors, and let them out.
A lot of people even say cover the mirrors.
Yeah.
They say too with the pressure, there's like kind of like in a storm, right? Like you could feel like the pressure in the house drop, or like if you're driving in your car, you hear the feel of pressure of the airplane decompression, right? Like paranormal stuff can do that effect too. So it's like if you got stuff around you, you can't control the like almost the like it almost controls like the feeling in the air. So that pressure you feel. And usually like with some of the places we've been to, like some ladies like will feel like I feel like something's choking me. Like we've been to places like that. Like even at our house, one of our investigators was like the entire time I felt like something was around my neck, like squeezing.
It's funny that you say that because of how this person had committed suicide. It literally was like I could not breathe. Yeah. Which is odd. I've never heard that even, but it does make sense.
Yeah.
Now another thing that on that subject, they say that people who are open and they open themselves up to this, there's a term sensitive, but where you can like
medium.
you're susceptible. Like you pick up like your you're feeling what they felt.
Oh, empath?
Empath. Yeah.
I've been told I'm an empath.
So like when you're feeling the choking, that could have been what they felt up to it. Or like if you go to a place where like there was no, like they drowned, right? You start having trouble. I can't breathe. I can't catch my breath. Like you're connecting to it because it's
You're
sharing
feeling what they
that
felt.
emotion. Yeah, because that they say like whatever happens to somebody so tragic, it burns an imprint there, and that emotion was so strong, so heightened, that people who are sensitive and open themselves up to that could sometimes feel that.
Now, have you all like studied this? I don't want to say like on a professional level, but like did you go to school for this, or is this just something that you have just picked up and started looking into on your own?
At first, it was more just like we started like testing stuff, personal experiences, learning what other, because it's believe it or not, there's a very, very big network once you start looking into like paranormal groups and stuff. And there's some people that are like you learn quick. You're like, okay, this group is wearing masks of clowns and they're running into a house. Okay, I'm not gonna try that, but this person, like, actually, do not.
That's a true story.
I would have probably not had you all come down if you did that.
Yeah, they're like,
one of our clients actually told us they had a paranormal group come out, and when they went to do the investigations, they were like,
let's suit up, and then they threw on masks and
went in to go do
what
the
is the purpose of
well,
that?
and
Like,
that's the thing. Yeah, I do.
Well,
We have no idea. We don't know what the group was. He didn't tell us. He might have told us the group name, but this was a long time ago. We wouldn't say it if we did know. But it's just not how we would ever do it or think that it would work.
We want it to be very extremely professional when we do these things, because it's such a serious matter to somebody. So like we wanted to make sure like everybody dresses nice. Everybody we have a code, like all our people are vetted. We don't let new people just join our group and hey, day one, here you go, figure it out. But to get back to your question, we kept studying and learning from different groups, and we had friends that showed us, and we made new friends. They showed us stuff. We found what worked for us. And then there was a point where like things were getting dark.
A lot of what we also had to learn the hard way.
Yeah. And sometimes you stumble, right? Like we've had investigators who they had to take a break because they said the wrong thing and they were like mentally and emotionally drained. Like one person, we were at a client house and he was like, no, take my energy, drain me. I want to know you're here. Don't do that. Now we know. And so, he did. So,
well, we learned from him.
We learned from him. But, and then once we started getting to the, like the scary stuff, I wanted to know, okay, I want to be able to identify this stuff. And so like, that's when I was like, let me go online, let me see what's available. And there's like a lot of stuff. And like the Para Learning has like a bunch of courses online that you can actually go to. You can buy the course.
Not sponsored.
And and they like it breaks everything down. It's reading, videos. There's a bishop from like the Catholic Church that goes over like what they believe and they practice. And then you do more reading, and then you test out of that subject. And so like for me personally, I went through like a course that had like 50 or so like test words, books that you had to go through, videos, and then test out. It's like 50 different subjects to get your little diploma.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I feel more better now, because now when I'm at a place, I'm like, is it a bad, like in my opinion, oh wow, this is just a bad spirit that's just angry and wants to be mean. Oh wow, this person, they're telling us their story and they're talking about an infestation, and now they're oppressed and they're like a step away from possession. And I'm pulling out crosses now at this point to see if they like react to it. Just and it's an interesting concept too. Like one of the courses actually said, like, if you suspect it, have one of the people like talk to the person and they're interacting, and then you pull the cross out, like a crucifix out, and hold it behind them. If they flinch, that tells you something. Because they don't know, they don't see you, because you have somebody engaged. And that's something I taught my crew, is like, whenever you feel something's rough, or like their stories, like they're thinking demonic, they're waking up with scratches, blah blah blah, two of you go and talk. one goes behind and just with the like cross, and if they react, that's something to add. Like maybe they need to go seek spiritual counseling.
Now, we
Yeah.
do not guarantee that we can get rid of anything
No.
when we go to these clients' homes. Even though he has taken the courses, he is,
No.
certified demonologist. We are not, priests or anything affiliated with the Catholic Church.
Right.
We don't go in and try to get rid of anything.
And I can't go in with my proton pack like Ghostbusters.
So you're not like what they show on TV with all that.
I kid you not. You just heard my mom talk. You're like something with Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this feels like a Ghostbusters issue.
But you all do have quite a bit of equipment and
Yeah.
everything that you use. So tell us about the equipment, because you all have
absolutely
all kinds of stuff,
all the goodies. So
gadgets and such.
well, a lot of the stuff we do, what we found was if you go to some place and you have just one piece of equipment, and whatever's there doesn't really understand how to interact with it, then you're definitely going to get nothing. Or if you just have one piece of equipment, it's that one little item and you have nothing else, you have nothing to compare it with. So like, let's say my electricity scenario, right? I have a little box that reads the electrical radiation in the air. And that's starting to go off. I'm like, oh, it's ghost. You're haunted. Time to go.
My work's done.
Work's done. But if we have a bunch of equipment that can collaborate your story, your experiences, it helps prove what
What's
you're
actually
having.
going on,
So for
yeah.
instance, one of our first client, he said a lot of things. He said, I see gremlins going down the steps in the basement. I hear a woman like moaning and like going like in the kitchen area, and he's like, I'm at the couch, I'm eating, and I feel like I'm leaning, like someone's jumping on this side. And so that's the three big things. And so some of the equipment. So for downstairs, we put a DVR system, and you have a DVR system at your farm, so you probably see the camera system. You could catch stuff on that. We actually caught like his little gremlin thing.
Oh yeah.
It's
we caught
something. Yeah.
I love how she chimes in and she's like, wait a minute.
I had to make sure. So I'm making sure she's awake.
It's
Something with one eye.
just a white dot.
Yeah.
And it's weird because we were filming in the kitchen when we first caught it,
And our
and we
electric
didn't
meter's
see
going off.
anything on the floor.
Mhm.
But when we went back and reviewed the footage, there was a white dot moving across the floor, and then it just disappeared.
and that's when the electric box
And
stopped
then
going off.
that was when the electric box was just going skyrocketing. And as soon as it disappeared on the floor, the electric box just stopped. Everything dropped.
Oh wow.
And then on our DVR system that was in the basement, right after that dropped from the kitchen, on the stairs that come from the kitchen, you see the white dot on the top of the stairs, and then a couple seconds later, it's like 2 steps down, and a couple seconds later, it's like 2 more steps down, and then it looks sideways, looks back, and then
It
just disappears. And we never saw it again.
Yeah. And but to add to that, so we had 2 pieces of equipment that interacted. And so, and then for the couch scenario, we had a piece of equipment that outlines the human body when you walk in front of it. And that's a beautiful piece of equipment. It shoots a bunch of lasers. Anybody walks in front of it, it grids you. So if no one's in front of that camera and you don't see anybody and you see a human shape standing there moving around, is there something there?
Right.
And at this place, we were able to go up to it because it was on the couch where he felt like the leaning. We had it pointing at the couch, and sure enough, there was something jumping on the edge of the couch, just doing this number.
Was you trying to give me a jump scare?
You're right. And we're getting the heart pumping.
I know, it's like,
And
this is why I love them so much, because listen, he gets so excited about it, and she's like, wait.
well, and then what happened though is like it was doing its jumping thing, and then I get on camera. You can see the system outline me, and I look up. I'm like, I could see you, and it stops, looks down at me, and I'm like, hi, and then it reaches out and holds my hand, and then disappears.
So you all are talking about the gremlins. My sister just commented on, have I told you all about our childhood home?
Oh.
So when we were growing up, the bedroom that she stayed in, she swore up and down that there was a little gray man that lived in her closet and, came out or whatever. We all thought she was crazy. We were like, whatever. Of course, our parents was, we do not speak.
Don't talk about
yes,
this.
we don't talk about it until I inherited that room. And I also seen the little, and my mom was like, stop it. Like, no.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That goes back to the seeing but denying.
But and
Yes.
right there, that's the thing is don't talk about it.
Mhm.
Don't
Mhm.
acknowledge it. Don't let people think you're crazy.
I was about to say, people literally think you're crazy
Mhm.
or that you're making it up. And my whole thing is and we had talked about this last time as well, but her and I had the same experience where the woman had told her she just wanted her story told. Well, I went underneath in the tunnels by myself, and there was a woman really loud and just wanted her story told. And I had told Amber, I said, I was talking, and as soon as I told her, we just wanted to know their history so we could tell their story, that's when she got really loud with me. And when I came back upstairs, I told her, she said, you would have never known that because we hadn't spoke about it.
I hadn't told her that that's what was
So,
picked up. At one of
I
the
was
places.
like, make that make sense, because there's certain things that I'm not a mind reader.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't know you were gonna bring up Ghostbusters in my mind. But that's what the things that kind of like clarify it for me. Even if I do question certain things, like, did I hear that or did I see what I thought I seen? When other people can back that up, like their own
Validate.
experiences.
Validate. Yeah.
And that's one of the major reasons why we actually do what we do. And because even with our first client, if you watch our very first episode, as he is explaining everything that he's experiencing, he's like almost in tears, and he's like, I know this sounds so crazy, but this is what I'm going through. A lot of the times people just need that validation. They just need somebody to say, I hear you, I believe you.
Right.
And we don't charge anything to go to a client's home and investigate, and we never will. We literally just do it to help them as best as we can and give them, if anything else, a peace of mind and somebody to believe them and somebody to hear
somebody
them.
to listen.
You all don't charge, but if you came to my house, you would charge, because coming home with me likes to pull your leg. So
Nice.
I'm just saying, you might start charging after that one.
Right.
Yeah. It's definitely a good time at my house sometimes, but it's only my garage. So,
Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
One of the pieces of equipment that you all had are like these headphone
Yep.
things. So what is it? Tell us
So
about that.
we do like how you were asking earlier, like, where do you learn this stuff from? So a group of people tested this theory of sensory deprivation. So you put some headphones on, it's quiet. She's here for all my big words. And
we always need a brain dump.
right? And
I gotta keep him in check and give him the words.
yeah, doing great, honey. And so the thought process is we have another box that's like a spirit box, and like it's radio, and it's just driving through. And of course, when we explain that to people, they're like, of course a radio is going to make a noise or a word. But it's like, yeah, but if it's related to what you're asking, like, what's the odds? And so one of the things that we found that we could do to kind of like connect those dots is if somebody puts on some headphones, noise canceling headphones, you can't hear the question being asked, and they wear something over their face so they can't see the person asking the question, and a group is in there asking a question, and then they answer it. And again, like people if you're watching it on TV, you're like, fake.
Rigged.
But when my
They
sister
have a
actually
in their ear.
yeah. Well, my sister, she said the same thing. She said, you watch it on TV and you're like, oh, that's weird. She came with us to the Brushy Mountain, Tennessee prison. And we did that same thing. And we had her do it. She was like, oh my God. Like, I was hearing words and I was calling it out. And I was like, you were answering questions. And I was like, what? And it is.
And it is really, you haven't seen them like do it, but it's really interesting to watch them because they literally do. They're blindfolded and they just kind of sit there and then just start shouting out words, as we're sitting there talking. And it's crazy because I just wanted to
Mhm.
tap him sometimes and say, "Did you hear us? Like, are you listening?"
Yeah,
to what
like,
we're
Are you
saying?"
sure you can't hear me?
There's a bug on your
Yeah.
shoulder.
Watch out behind you.
Yeah. We had one where they were doing the sensory deprivation deal, and they were going through, and he was like, I was like, what do you want? And they were like, I want to be left alone with him. And then the light went off on the other piece of equipment, that little round REM pod thing. And so yeah, it's an unreal thing. And but like here at the Long Branch, we got to actually test that stuff. And
Yeah.
and we got some more equipment that we plan on testing too.
Yeah, we got
Recently
new
new.
equipment, so next
Yeah.
time we come back.
And that's like the whole light thing that you're
Mhm.
talking about when we went in the tunnels together. I heard her camera
Mm-hmm.
go off, and I had gone way past where they had been around a bend.
Mhm.
They couldn't see me. I couldn't see them. I couldn't see their flashlights or nothing. And the tunnel I was in flashed. And
Mhm.
I asked her if she had taken a picture because I heard her camera, and she said, "Yeah, but my flash isn't on." And I said, "This tunnel just lit up." I got Coach was telling you about. I was like, this tunnel just like flashed.
Mhm.
And I even checked my phone. I was like, did I accidentally take a picture?
Go back through and look. No.
And I was like, I didn't take a picture. So, but it like I've never ever had a bad experience as far as spirits or
Mhm.
Anything as at Long Branch. I think they're jokesters. Like
Yeah.
the chair spinning and hitting me.
Mhm.
That to me was funny because I at first I thought somebody was behind me and had like spun it and hit me, and I was like, why? Like,
Yeah.
what is your joke? Like, and then I turned around like, oh, nobody's there.
Well, no, 100%. I think even like if I'm not mistaken, even a bag of chips got launched
Mhm.
when we were there.
I heard about that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's amazing. Like I didn't get any like scary feelings of dread there.
Mm-mm.
Like I
No.
was like intense. And then speaking of cameras, like I used a full spectrum camera, which is a camera without a filter, so it lets all the light in. And we got some amazing shots with that thing. Yeah, we in the basement part going down the tunnel, it almost looked like somebody was like walking or carrying somebody
Mhm.
under the tunnel, which makes sense.
Right.
Like you would think like, oh, maybe.
So this is
Show you some of
something
my
after you
Mhm.
all had been in that we actually found out too. Of course, you all knew that our place used to be called, well, it's not this building now, but the place before used to be called the Dawson House. Well, before it was the Dawson House, it was actually the Fogle Inn. And
Mhm.
Mr. Fogle, who owned it, was actually the town's undertaker, the town's only undertaker.
He was dragging the.
And he owned the building that stood before where our building stands now.
Oh my
I'm just
goodness.
gonna lay my coat chills on the air.
Right?
But it is. It's neat when you find things like that out. That kind of in one of the pictures I have from down there, it looks like a soldier is standing behind me,
Mhm.
and it's. I even was like, it wasn't my shoulder because it looked like a soldier that had something on their like a ranking or something on their shoulder, and I was like, I have a t-shirt on, so I don't have a poofy shoulder right now, and I was like, my flash would not have caused that. Just because it was behind me. So I was like, maybe it's my shadow. It was not my shadow. I was like, okay. I was like, maybe but I am so open to it that maybe that's why. But
Like they'll show themselves to her more,
Yeah.
maybe. I know that in one of the pictures that we took when we were down there, because I went in with a headlamp on.
oh my
But
gosh.
we couldn't get the headlamp to work at all.
Oh,
I
no.
mean,
And it was mine.
yeah, it was
We had just
her.
put batteries in it. Like it was
She had it charged
It
and
was-
everything.
Before we went in, working perfectly fine.
Once we got to the entrance, I could not even get it to come on, but it was already attached to my hat. So I was like, whatever, I'm leaving it. Let's just go, Well, I never even paid any attention. I mean, we took several pictures down there. We didn't even look at them until we got back up. When we got back up, we seen the picture of me and her that we had taken. My headlamp's not on. And then I was standing at an entrance of one of the tunnels, and she was further down in the tunnel. So she had turned around and taken a picture of me. My headlight was just bright as can be. Like it was
Oh my
lit
goodness.
up so bright. After that, it was not on no more. It was, it was good. And you all kind of had issues with
Mhm.
your all's equipment too, didn't you? Like
Oh yeah.
stuff draining. Like what was that?
We had stuff draining. We had a new rule came into place after going to your place.
Of course.
We never had this before. Like we've had like a camera maybe lose footage for some reason or a glitch
We've lost footage before. We have never lost
from three different cameras,
cars,
three different cars.
cameras. They're
Yeah.
all 3 different brands of cameras.
Well, leave it to us. you
Right?
know.
We set that record. So now I have a film camera that we
Old
bring.
school.
Old school. I'm like, when we go back,
Take it all.
I'm gonna be filming with that. I'm gonna be like, erase this, and then and that'll be it. Like I'm done. Like, but yeah, no, we had-
Challenge
yeah.
it. It might get
Right.
happen.
but we did. We had some interesting equipment failure, and I'm thinking of the flashlight too. Like I love the flashlight things, but like if you get a regular flashlight and set it on a table, we had that at the place where it was like, hey, can you turn on that flashlight for me? Sure enough,
Mhm.
like yeah,
And it's those things that you can't explain because it's like, I see you, you see me.
Mhm.
We aren't touching that.
yep,
Right.
So
that's the best kind.
And then when it does it on command,
mhm.
it's like, okay, turn it
Mhm.
off, and it turns it off. All right, turn it back on, and it turns it back on. Like that's something even I can't explain that. I've tried. There's no logical explanation for why it's doing it, and especially on command.
Which is what some of the ones after they watched, you know, the video that you all had put out on Airplace, they were like, "Oh, they've got remotes in their pockets," and I was like, "No, I was literally standing right there." You know,
It is literally the little cheap dollar flashlights that have the little screw in
yeah,
the
that's what
top.
I said.
and
Like,
that's
I
it.
watched them put the batteries
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah, there's
and
no magic
there's
trick.
there is nothing like that.
There's no magic going on here.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I think.
Danny says it's better than Alexa when you can call
Right.
them, man.
Hey, can you
Yeah.
contact you to do that right now because we don't want the lights to go off. But
Right.
can you imagine? Oh my gosh! But that's one of those things where if skeptics or people you know can see it,
Right.
and I think that's the hardest part too because when you're recording, there's nobody recording behind you to be like, look, there's nobody else here. It's just me. Explain it.
Yeah.
And if you can explain it in a better way, like I had people go through my pictures from under in the tunnels and they were just like, it's this. And I'm like, okay, well, explain this. Like I got rid of all the contrast on one picture and turned the whole picture pitch black, but there's a blue orb.
Right there.
I said, explain that.
And it
Mhm.
followed us, didn't it?
Yes.
And like everywhere we went, it followed us down there.
Yeah.
Her, not me, her.
Right. Like there's rules.
Yeah.
I know. Just follow Kristen. Stick with me. That's normally what they play down there, I think, which I don't mind. And my first experience, I was pretty young. I had actually had somebody tell me about an experience I had told them about, and they didn't believe me. But the first one I remember, I was 18 or 19. I was pretty young. A friend of mine, his mother had passed away, and I physically seen her.
Oh my goodness.
And all she did was smile. I didn't have the nerve to tell him at first. I waited about a month, and he knew exactly what date because he stopped dipping on that date, and it was the date she hated him dipping.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, but that was my first personal like true experience where I didn't question what's going
that
on
sticks
here.
with you too.
Yes.
Like your first experience is like
yes.
Well, there's a lot of things that we have experienced that if I had not been there and experienced it myself and just watched it on a TV show or something, I would have been like, yeah, that's fake. That's not real. That can't happen. So I get that. Like I said, I get that from the skeptic's point of view. But sometimes you will have diehard people that are like, nothing's real. Doesn't matter what you bring to them. They're always going to be, this isn't real. You're just faking it
somehow. Yeah.
all the time.
They explain it away in their heads.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no, I always joke with those type of people. I'm like something could literally like appear in front of you and start shaking them and be like, what is going on here? I don't see nothing. Like
we're in an earthquake.
Yeah.
I'm the only one
I'm the only one
experiencing it.
I'm feeling this right now. Yeah, I skeptics, they kind of get me because well, I mean, I've literally had somebody look at me like I was just plumb crazy, and I'm like, what would my purpose be to lie to you?
Right? What do you get out of it?
What would I get out of making you think I'm crazy? That's not going to make you leave me alone,
right?
Like, but yeah, I mean, some skeptics, they are very like they can see it. directly in front of them, and they just
Well, and
deny it.
some of them, I think you said it earlier, because I know my mother was like this. Like she was always, you didn't believe in mediums, you didn't,
Mhm.
none of it was real, or exactly what was you seeing?
Mhm.
If you did see or hear something, what actually was it?
Mhm.
Because that is what I don't want to say trained or believe
You
or
have that
whatever,
grown into
but
you.
yeah, like it is demonic or something of that nature. Because she used to tickle me when I would go to mediums and stuff, because I've always been fascinated, but more so on the fun side of it, just to kind of see whatever. But she would always say, "Now that's not true, but what did they tell you?"
Right, I'm curious.
The curiosity
Yeah.
gets to people, but that's what I have never even been to a medium. I was actually had talked to her about it. I was like,
wow.
I really need to, because I know like there's things that follow me and people that follow me, and like things that I feel and see. And I think a lot of that has to do with, you said the word perfect and empath, because I think people cling to me for a certain reason. But I've never had like a feeling of like an outer body experience, or felt like somebody was trying to possess me or anything like that. I think it's just more, maybe it is like people that maybe they need something that needs to still be said.
Well, they may feel comfortable.
Yeah.
With you bring them comfort.
So we have a friend who's a psychic medium, and she's come with us on a few adventures. So she's really cool, Jennifer.
Mhm.
And we tested her. So we were like, okay.
Of course, we have to test.
That's it. I was like, you're gonna come walk with us. Sorry, we're testing. And so we were like, I want you to sit down with everybody and do your thing, psychic medium them. And so we got to my turn, and I'm gonna tie this back to what you were just saying just now. But we got to my turn. I don't talk about my work, and I was like, tell me something that's going on with my work. And she legit, none of those folks know my Pizza Hut job.
Mhm.
And so I work in an office, and of course with an office, a corporate office, there's structure. She was able to break down who was on my direct team, what each person was doing, who the type of person that I reported to.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. You're spot on. Tell me what's going to happen. And she told me this like outlandish story. Like I would never have guessed it. She was like, your current manager is going to leave. The person you think is going to get the management role is not going to get it. They're going to leave, and there's going to be a person from your past that is going to be your manager. And I was like, so months go by. Manager leaves. The person who I thought was going to get it didn't get it. He left, and the original manager came back.
Wow.
That I used to report to. So I was like, oh, she's spot on. So yeah, we'll have to. But she said when she was talking to our team and like people who were picking up on stuff, she said that how we see stuff. She was like, her example was they see stuff like light, and people have a certain like light about them. Some people are darker, not like evil dark, but just like dimmer. Some people have like a different like color or aura, but on ones that are brighter, if you can imagine, they're more drawn to that, because if you're in the distance and you see like a dim light over here, but you see something really bright over there, where are you going to go to? You're going to run to the light.
So it's so funny that you all said that. Every single medium or card reader or anybody who's a sensitive or anything has always said that like around me is so bright. Almost like I have like a protection around me. And I even had one tell me one time when I went in and sat down, she was like, whoa, you've got a lot with you right now. And I was like, what? And she's like, I'm talking like hundreds. And I said, I don't even know that many people alive, much less that many people that have died, And she's like, you don't have to know them. Which that was crazy to me. I was like, oh, that kind of freaked me out. And I didn't go to another one.
After that, I'm done.
I was like, I'm out.
No, is there anything that you can think that you would like for people to know? Maybe that question, or that would like to be interested in having you all come?
Oh, sure. it first off, something for you all to know. Don't ever, I know sometimes it's scary. If you are experiencing something, remember it's your domain. Whatever your higher power is, let that know whatever's there. And don't be afraid. You set the boundaries, you set the bar. If you ever need help, we help people all the time. We get actually a lot of people just messaging us asking questions through Facebook, and we field those questions to our group members.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have just questions, you can hit us up, and we're happy to help. Usually not everything, and we've noticed this, not every person who needs help needs a full-fledged investigation. They just need direction.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times we'll do like a phone call, we'll do a phone interview, we'll chat for a couple hours, and afterwards I'm like, do you feel better? And they're like, you know what, I do. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
We never hear from them again. But then there's other times where it's like, we're in conversation, we're like, this could be quite a few things, and I can't give you a confident answer over the phone. We need to come out to your house and assess, or wherever you're at. And those are the things. I think my biggest thing is just don't be afraid to talk, because you're not going to get ridiculed. There's people who are afraid to even, like you said, they're afraid to even just ask or tell their story because they're worried. And really, that's nothing to be worried about if you know you're going into a conversation with somebody with an open mind, open heart. That's what we do.
So how can people get a hold of you all?
Best way, facebook.com/hello TEPS. And we have a bunch of people in our that are on our team that are access to the mailbox. And you just ask your question or just let us know, hey, this is what I need. This is what I want to know. And
just remember, we all have
Day-
day jobs and families. So sometimes it does
there's a
take
delay.
us to get back in touch with you, but we will get back in touch with you.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
And you investigate homes, businesses,
Everything.
like
Yeah.
there's nothing that
Now if it's like an apartment building,
That's a little harder to do.
or
because
you
of
know, like
neighbors and
somewhere
stuff.
where there's a lot of people living, we will come out. You know, we can come out, we can try to do what we can, but it's a lot of noise that's not controlled.
Mhm.
So we can't, especially with like the audio recorders and everything, we can't guarantee anything that comes across there is actually something that wasn't coming from your
Like
neighbors. or something
TV
like that.
blasting. It's a football game.
So
or watching Ghostbusters.
Right.
We will do what we can. We just, our main rule is somebody over the age of 18 has to be on the premises the entire time we are there. That's just for legal purposes. Everything like that. There's a lot of paperwork. We make everybody sign.
Rewind back. We're professional.
But that's to keep you all safe as well.
Yeah, we keep them and
them as well.
Yeah.
You know, no liabilities or anything like that. It's just, you know, but we there's only one place I think we ever have really said no to, and that was a lady. She wanted us to come to a nursing home. And for anything like that, we would have to get like the owner's permission to come, anything like that. So that would have to go like higher up for them to be like, oh yeah, you can come in here.
It's just permissions. We don't want to get people. We don't want to get in trouble.
That again goes back to the legal things and everything like that. We don't want. Okay, well, you're not allowed to be filming on these premises or anything like that. So just things like that. But as far as anything else, we don't really have any limitations. If it's far away, it will have to be scheduled out many, many months in advance.
Yeah, well, which we do. We travel all over the place.
Because again, you have day jobs and family.
Got to coordinate everything, and we got a big team, so we got to coordinate who can come, and they got to coordinate their schedule. So yeah, we definitely we want to help as many people as we can and give them, if nothing else, an ear to listen to them.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing we guarantee. We're gonna hear you out. We're gonna try to. We're gonna listen, and you could talk. You could tell us everything you're experiencing. That's the guarantee. We can't guarantee we'll ever find it. We go somewhere and be like, we didn't catch nothing, but
that doesn't mean there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. It's real
Just
to
because
you.
we
It's
go
real
there
to
and we investigate and we get nothing, doesn't mean what you're experiencing isn't happening. Doesn't mean it's not real. It just means they didn't want to communicate with us at that time, or we didn't get it at that time. And we always tell our clients that we can't guarantee that we're going to catch anything. We can't guarantee we'll get rid of anything if there is something here, but we will come, we will bring our equipment, and we will do what we can to try to validate what you're seeing and what you're hearing.
And
And it puts them at ease. It puts people at ease.
Well, no, we've even had people like, hey, before you guys leave, can you pray? And we're like, yeah, we'll go through, we'll go in every room, we'll rock this.
Yeah.
I'll go to battle.
We can pray. We can we have sage. We can burn sage around, anything like that. We don't make any guarantees because we are not.
Well, we're dealing with the unknown,
Right.
Yeah. Well, I know we really appreciate you all coming out today.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, we
fun.
want to bring awareness to all of this. We want to try to help with the skeptics. And
Mhm.
if people do have things they're experiencing that they can't understand or want a word or an ear, that way you all can kind of debunk or help them figure out what's going on. So,
We do what we can.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you all again,
Thank
Victor
you.
and Megan, that is in their shadows.
Yeah.
Corner.
and they're with the Elizabethtown Paranormal Society.
Mhm.
So, TEPS. And like you said, if you all need anything, message them, get with them. Or if you cannot and you need help getting to them, Amber or I will help you get into contact with them.
Yeah. And they've just posted, Danny's just posted their contact information on the screen. So if there it is for you all, if you want to contact TEPS and bring them out and let them hear your story if you have one. Again, guys, thank you all very much for coming on. We appreciate it. And I can't wait to talk to you all again and see what else is going on with you guys.
And thanks everybody for watching and listening to us. We appreciate you all.
Thank you, everybody.
And Danny says, thank you, ladies, for representing highly favored production.
Highly favored.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
So
part
we
of the
really
family now. Of
appreciate-
course,
yeah.
we're going to be representing.
T and Danny are family, so we have to
love it
represent
here.
for them. So
We may never leave, Danny, just so you know that.
I know you're never getting rid of us, Danny. I'm sorry.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Then call us out.
Yeah.
And then Tess will come and
Yeah.
investigate for you.
You have their info, so.
But we appreciate everybody and for listening and tuning in for Amber and I as we hopefully grow Long Branch Talks.
You all can find us on Facebook under Long Branch Talks. We're on Instagram under Long Branch Talks. TikTok under
Amber and Kristen.
And we've just started a YouTube page under Long Branch Talks. There's nothing on that yet, but hopefully Kristen
I'm
will
getting
get
ready to
that-
go figure
figure
that
out for us.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, join in, follow us on Facebook, or on. We also will be uploading this on Friday at 1 p.m. to all the listening apps out there too. So
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you all so much.